Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first podcast. What's going down live here on YouTube? And it's me, CT Bishop, alongside with my partner, my friend, my brother, big time, Jimmy Larson. What's going on, brother?
What's going down?
Right? What's going down, right? So, so this is really exciting, man, because number one, this is the first time ever in a very, very long time that both of us have actually talked to each other, like using our voices, not through text. You know what I mean?
I can't remember the last time that it was. I think maybe 2015.
Right? Something like that.
5 years maybe.
Yeah, oh my gosh, man, that was just it's crazy. It's crazy because
Can't remember the.
sorry, I'm just checking all this stuff real quick. No, it's crazy. If anything, when we were face to face the last time was in one of the shows that we were in, in wrestling. I think it was what was it? The Ex Boku one or something like that.
No, I think it was your show, Connecticut Pro, the night that I was a referee for your show, and Ref Zach got mad because I only did 2 matches and he was stuck doing the whole card.
No, here's the thing, man. Here's the thing, though, is the fact that Ex Boku did the show afterwards. That's the one where Black Dragon Troy Bond used your cake to get me out
Wrong.
of there.
Wrong.
Yes.
Do not credit Xboku show. That was not an Xboku show. That was R&W Promotions 1 for the Ages 1 year anniversary show in association with Xboku Pro, but it was not an Xboku show.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Brody.
He tried to take that over, but that was our show.
Yeah, no, he tried to take everything over. Come on now, man. Brody was a lying sack of shit.
That's the last show we did with him.
Yeah. I gotta try to watch my language because I know my daughter is listening in. But
well, I don't have to watch my language.
Oh yeah,
I don't have language.
That's the thing. No, that's the you don't swear or cuss or anything. I'm the one with the dirty mouth. No, but the thing was, all right.
Dirty mind, clean mouth. That's me.
Oh yeah, you definitely got a dirty mind. No. Brody always tried to take everything over. He lied about everything. I mean, he lied about me to a bunch of people, which ended up with me getting my a head contusion and some other things. He lied about you to a bunch of people. He lied about your brother.
He told everybody I stiffed him on the pay on that show, and I was hated. Still to this day, some of the indie talent still thinks it was me, and they wouldn't listen even after I sent a public apology explaining the situation that was not me.
He tried blaming
and
me
people
for
it is me.
No, he tried blaming me for a lot of things too. Let's be honest on this whole thing, bro. At the time there was no YouTube. At the time there was it was AOL and things like AOL, and everybody was on message boards, right? Everybody was on message boards. All right, this stupid guy, he cannot write. He cannot. Every time he would go on a message board, everything was on caps locks. He couldn't spell. He couldn't anything. Okay, he was trying to use your name. He was trying to use my name. He was trying to use Kenny's name. He was trying, all this stuff just to start some BS with a bunch of people. I remember at one time. I did not have AOL. I had it was like an AOL like a bootleg AOL made by Walmart called Walmart Connect. And no, for real. And there was only let's say 3 people that had my phone number, or 4 people that had my phone number. That was you, Kenny, Troy Black Dragon Bond.
Oh, me and Kenny shared our cell phones, so we were the same person.
but still, I'm just saying, in general. And it was you, Kenny, Troy Black Dragon Bond, and I love that man to death. He's, that's my brother for life. Just like you're always gonna be my brother
Yeah, I
for
gotta
life.
get a hold of him. I think his school is closing. He's taking all the stuff out of the windows.
Huh? I'm gonna have to ask him about that. Hopefully
I had to
everything's okay.
contact him. I was like, oh no, I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's not closing.
Yeah. No, but oh, and Brody was the just to get back to the story. Brody, he had my number. Okay, so I was getting a bunch of phone calls. Like I was getting phone calls from Chris Hamrick. I was getting phone calls from freaking like a whole bunch of people, like ex WWFE guys and what have you. Um, yeah, no problem, John. I see John. He wrote on the chat. He says this is great. Let's do a collab. But and that definitely. But yeah, no. But a bunch of people they're calling me saying, "Hey," I'm like, number one, who are you? Like I didn't realize at the time what it was. Like, who are you? How you got my number? Blah blah blah. And I said, anyway. So long story short, what that was that somebody contacted me. I think it was Blansky that called me. He said, "Hey, look, what's going on?" I was like, "What you mean?" As I look, I've been getting all these phone calls, whatever. What's happening? Blansky was the one that explained it. I told him the truth. I was like, "Look, I don't have AOL. I can't afford AOL. I got this thing called Walmart Connect, and with all of that, there's like a whole bunch of there's a long story to everything. But long story short is that I go, I have them forward the email to me. It was I had Chris Hamrick and Bob, Blansky. I had them forward the email to me, and I knew the spelling, I knew the writing style, and oh my freaking goodness, I knew it was Brody, and Brody tried to blame it on you. He said, "Oh, it was Kevin." I said, "What you mean it's Kevin?" "Yeah, it was Kevin." No, that Kevin knows how to write." It was ridiculous, man. There's
It
so many.
wasn't just writing that he didn't know how to do. He didn't know how to talk. I'll never forget
Hmm.
because I don't know where it is. Somewhere I actually have a gem because I have a copy of his freaking training tape from Dory Funk Jr.'s Funkin' Conservatory. And
Oh,
it's, on this tape, you actually see some great people there. People like Lita.
yep.
Amy Dumas is in this class and some other big names as well. Um, just watching his promos, he cuts a promo, which I think he was trying to say something. I don't even know exactly what he was trying to say, but the way he would taunt you in his promo, every time he had the same catchphrase, he would say, "Are you my mama's daddy?" And I was like, is he trying to say baby daddy or what? Are you my mama's daddy? And I'm like, and then his selling, like he gets knocked on the mat and the guy goes up to the top getting ready to drop an elbow and he starts moving his arms and legs and like acting, literally acting, saying, help me, I'm going to get hit, help me. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, what wrestling match have you been to where somebody's doing this and it's a believable thing? Like, yeah, this guy's in trouble.
All right, now let me ask you a question, okay? Because at the time, Dory Funk Jr. he wasn't running his school like he is now. It was more what he had at the time was a 3-day. It was like a 3-day finishing school where you would spend a few $100s, work with him for 3 days, where he would add the finishing touches for whatever. Now I know Fred Curry Jr. was there and a bunch of others. Lita. I know Lita was there. I know I know about that. Now I know that they spent more than 3 days with him. How long did Brody spend with Dory Funk?
On this tape, you see him cut one promo with Dory holding the mic,
Hmm.
and that's the only thing that you see. And in that promo, he completely tried to be Kurt Angle.
Ah,
And like all through this promo, and Dory at one point actually puts his hand over his face and shakes his head, and you could just see it in Dory's eyes. He's like, "Who is this guy?" Because he's like, I don't remember the exact words, but I remember the line that he kept saying in this. So it was something like, "I'm gonna beat this guy and beat that guy. It's true. It's true. It's true." And I'm like, well, Kurt never did it 3 times. And he said, it's true, it's true, it's true, at least 30 times in the course of this 45-second promo.
oh my gosh.
It's mostly just, it's true, it's true, it's true. After every line he said, like, he could have been, this wasn't the line, but he would just be like, oh, I walked down the street. It's true, it's true, it's true. And I walked and went into the grocery store. It's true, it's true, it's true. That's not the line, but that's the point. It's like he says a couple lines and then throws that in, and I'm just like, even like, wow, this is like beyond bad. Like I watched Brian Zane's video of the worst promos in wrestling, and I'm thinking, wow, if he had seen this would have been number 1 on the list.
I'll tell you this though, the only thing that's really messed, at least for me, as far as when it comes to my life, the thing that really messed it up for me is that because of him and the BS and all of that, I never really got a chance to show what I could do, here in our area, whether it was Connecticut or Mass or what. I had to travel and work shows under different gimmicks, under a mask all the time, different masks, different gimmicks. I had to do so much crap that just so that way I can actually work, because with that was like the biggest mistake I ever made, just giving that guy a shot, you know what I mean? And me personally, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And it's like when people ask me, hey, where were you and this, that, and the other, I'm like, look, I'm gonna be real. I was a jobber or enhancement talent, and I was under many names and many gimmicks and whatever, and and it was just so that way I can work, and I didn't care about putting the guy over. I even now with my back being messed up and all that, and if I ever get in the ring again, I don't care about putting the guy over. To me, I see the big picture. It's about the big picture. It's about the suspense of belief, or disbelief, and all of that. So if in the end of the day, if all of us can make more money, and I put somebody over, who make them look good and really just get the crowd, get the fans to just be excited because so and so is kicking my butt, then I'm all for it. I don't care. I knew you remember how I used to look and everything. You remember how I used to look, and I knew there was no way I was gonna be the next Hogan. I knew I was not even gonna be the next Yoko. I knew that I wasn't gonna be the next Vader. I just wanted to get in the ring. So it's like if I can make the other guy look good and what have you, then I was fine with it. I didn't care. So, but because of him, I had to leave. I had to leave. I had to leave and travel earlier on than I would have liked to. But I couldn't get booked in our state for a long time. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, I didn't regret it because for one thing, which I'll get to in a minute, something big that happened, but he was my foot in the door. I hadn't even graduated high school yet. I was about to graduate high school that same month in June of 2002 when we saw a flyer that was given to us by somebody. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's the R from R&W that everybody would ask, so why are you called R&W Promotions? There was an R at one point, and yeah, he gave us a flyer for this upcoming show, and we went to try and buy tickets, and Brody was selling the tickets because it was Brody's show, and Brody's like, oh, I'm on that show, and he told us this, and we're like, oh, man, that's cool, and he goes, yeah, I'm looking for people to help out. Are you willing to help? And I'm thinking, hey, I'm not in the business. I'd like to be in the business. This is my foot in the door. Yes, let's do this. So we helped him out with setting up the show and everything, and then the next thing we know, he's telling us that he's got this big deal going down with WXW and Off of the Wild Samoan, and it's like, wow, this is big. And all of a sudden, the next thing we know, we're getting invited to a picnic for a private family and stuff, and it's like, wow, this is huge. We haven't done anything yet. Yep. And then all of a sudden, now I'm getting trained, and all this stuff's just happening, and it's all falling into place. And it's like, I owe that to him because he got me that foot in the door. And what I was going to say, even what it also did was it's what allowed me to meet you. Because my first match that I refereed was your match.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember.
Yeah.
That was where we met. And then all of a sudden, now I'm working with you. I worked for your promotion, did the refereeing there. And, of course, you worked our show. Which you were talking about with the cake and everything. So all that never would have happened. And this podcast wouldn't have happened if not for him because we never would have met. So when you play the what if game, the whole It's a Wonderful Life, everybody's life touches so many others. Even if something bad happens, it can lead to something wonderful. There you go.
Well,
there's your positive.
Well, I mean, here's my thing. Here's my belief on all that is it's more of, whether he was there or not. Whether he was there or not, we would have met one way or the other.
Not necessarily, because I may not have gotten into the business.
Well, I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying that personally speaking, this is my belief that hold on, give me 1 second. My daughter just wrote to me. No,
she's watching.
well, she has to get off. No, but my thing is this. My thing is that whoever you meet in life, you're meant to meet them one way or the other. That it's like, even if it wouldn't have been through wrestling. Our connection in wrestling or whatever, it would have been one way or the other. And I mean, if you think about it, this is me thinking. If you think about it, I mean, it took us what quite a few years for both of us to really see that we had a bunch in common. Like, we like a lot of the same style of movies and music and whatever, right? And so, but the way I see it is like we would have eventually met. Maybe not back then when we were younger, but eventually we would have met. So, and maybe we wouldn't have had the podcast that we're doing now, today, but we could have eventually, it would have eventually happened because we would have been bouncing ideas off of each other. Throughout all these years that we've known each other, how many ideas that we bounce off each other for different things, you know what I mean? And it was just, I think it was an eventuality that we would have met. I mean, but I will give him that credit. I'll give him that credit. I'll give him that credit. Okay, yeah, he got you in the door, and we met, we met when we met.
I believe everything happens for a reason. Like I said, getting the flyer, all that stuff. Because long before that, even not long before, a year or two before that, the R&W and us, we were working on trying to set up our own show, and we were getting nowhere. Nobody wanted to listen to us because who are we? They didn't even want to listen to us. Well, I had a few people quote me prices that were outrageous because they were just trying to scare us off. Oh, let these punk kids hear this and they'll not want to run the show.
Oh yeah, no, and I'll tell you, and I went through that. I went through that even before I started training. I have a weird. I've we both have stories on how we got into everything, but I remember I just wanted to do a fundraising show. I wanted to do a fundraising show, and I was looking for wrestlers. Now, and this was when AOL really started getting big. But anyway, no. So what happened was that some websites were up, and or web pages and what have you. So I'm looking, I'm doing like the first searches on like Yahoo or whatever, and like I see that Hawk and Animal, and may Hawk rest in peace. But Hawk and Animal, they were doing indie bookings, and so I wrote to them. I said, hey, look, I'm trying to, and they quoted me a decent price, and then I see this one guy that he lives in Florida or some BS, and what was it? So I was like, you know what? Nobody knows him, and he might be lower. Now Hawk and Animal, they quoted me $1,200 for the both of them, plus plus transportation and a room. And in my opinion, and even by yesterday's standards, that was pretty low. We're talking about Hawk and Animal, Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, however you want to call them. I mean, one of the greatest tag teams to go out there.
What year was that? In 2003.
Yep.
In 2003, Animal quoted me the price of $2,200 for the both of them, but he told me if we booked them for a weekend and had them on 2 different days, he would lower the price for us and give us a discount.
This was
But that was a
yeah, no, for me, this was in, I want to say, around 2001-ish.
Oh, so like not long before, then only 2 years.
Yeah, no, this is around 2000.
Yeah, ours was literally like 2 weeks before Hawk passed.
Wow.
And then when Hawk passed, because we had just been going through emails back and forth with Animal,
Yep.
we kind of got the, when he sent out the funeral arrangements for everybody, it went to us as well because we were in his past emails, and he just was distraught sending out to everybody, and we ended up getting the invite to go, and I knew, we're not really invited to that. We just happened to get this because of that situation.
Oh, that's crazy, man. No, but I was that you found out that way. It was crazy that you found out that way.
Yeah, it was like, wow, we got an invite, and that was before everybody knew what was going down. Even
Yeah.
it was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah. No, but if you think about it, the price that he quoted me, the price that he quoted you, it
Not much.
yeah, it's not much, and at the same time, it was respectable, especially for two guys like Hawk and Animal. But the guy in Florida, he was like a no name. He wasn't even really well known in Florida. He was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna charge you $2,500, and you have to get me a nice hotel with a swimming pool and this and that. He was like, all these amenities and BS. I'm like, dude, nobody knows you. It's like nobody knows you. I'm like, no, screw that. I'm not gonna hire this guy. But with all of that, around that time, around that time, it was like 9/11 happened and all that. So it was just, it was just, because I started my physical training in 2001, during the summer 2000. I was already doing a bunch of things even before that. I was talking to like for years. I was talking, for I was talking to guys like Les Thatcher, like and like, okay, Bob Backlund. He lives in our state, and I would remember I can run into run into Bob Backlund like almost every other weekend, and I'm just asking him for advice and this and that and the other. The first piece of advice he gave me was make sure I get a college education so that we have a backup, and
Yeah, Bob's really strong on that. I just ran into Bob last year at a baseball game, and we were talking about things, and he was talking about education. How these wrestlers today, they need to realize they need that education to back up on if wrestling doesn't go well, and he's really strong on that.
Oh yeah, no, and I took that to heart, and I made sure I went to college and everything.
He talks about the book too, and I'll plug his book because his book's really good.
Oh yeah. Oh no, no. I got I read some things. I remember I was in the bookstore and I saw a copy, so I was just reading it. I couldn't afford it at the time, so no. But what was it? And then I'm talking to Les Thatcher. Okay, I because here's the crazy thing with me is that my cousin like several years before that, like about like about 7 years before that, like because we would get the wrestling magazines like once a month when we'd save up our pennies whatever and get a rest and one of the rest I think it was the PWI or the PW the PW Insider
Pro Wrestling Illustrated.
yeah yeah
Or
they had an ad, do you want to become a pro wrestler, get this book. So he bought the book and then he gave it to me and it was just like little bits and pieces. Now I remember many many years ago when Fox came out with that special of the secrets to pro wrestling. You remember that?
yeah, it was hosted by the guy who did the voice for Salem the Cat on Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah, exactly. So so there's so much that I can get into, but to go just to kind of go in a linear of this was that so he gives me the book and I'm reading it, and inside that book,
Was the stunt granny.
yeah, right. The sub granny was funny. I remember that. I was like, the guy just pushes her, and it's funny because you remember
Well, you know where that segment came from, right?
no, where?
I found out recently. I'd never seen this. There's a WCW Monday Nitro. Hollywood Hulk Hogan is outside the ring, and this freaking old granny lady
Oh
starts
god.
taking swings at Hogan, and Hogan's standing just far enough back where she can't reach him, and she's still throwing punches at Hogan's touching his face. Come on, Granny, hit me, hit me. And then I think it's Ed Leslie. I don't remember. Somebody runs over and tries to like get in between this as if this is really a match or a contest. And then Hogan shoves that person and they fall backwards into the granny and granny goes down.
Oh.
That's where that segment came from, why they talked about stunt granny. It's because of WCW, good old WCW.
Okay, well, do you remember? Do you remember the where they did it where they had the kid with the balloons or the popcorn or whatever, and you had and they were like, oh yeah, and the kid is also part of the act too, and he's probably one of and I remember that I want to say about 2 or 3 weeks like a year or two before that. You remember Mr. Hughes?
Yes, Curtis Hughes.
Yeah, he would walk down to the ring, and if he sees a kid with a balloon, like, okay, how, and let's be honest, okay, when
How
has
many references with balloons?
I know what I'm saying, when has WWE ever or WWF even right? When have they ever had balloons, right?
Inflatable stuff, yes, but not balloons.
Yeah, I'm saying like inflatable stuff. Yeah, but it's like it was funny because I see Hughes. He takes a cigar and he pops the balloon, or he'll take like the bucket of popcorn. Okay, the bucket of popcorn, that's obvious,
Well,
but
I should count when the balloons fall from the ceiling.
no, but this was even no. But the thing was that this was before. This was before like Raw, before was Raw. This was when it was just on Superstars.
Yeah, no, I'm just making up. That's when you see a balloon at a dirty of that.
Oh yeah, but we're talking about it back in the day though. So I remember when in the Secrets to Pro Wrestling, they show they're showing it as, hey, look, Mr. Hughes did that the other week or whatever. Anyway,
See, I
so
thought that segment was more referencing like DiBiase with the kids, with the basketball kid and everything. If you can dribble this basketball 10 times, I'll give you some money. And he kicks the ball away. You didn't get there. And you don't get paid, and makes the kid cry. But
no,
not all those for plants anyway. Rob Van Dam was not a plant when he got in the got in the ring to kiss his foot.
Oh yeah, no. I know he's talked about that. I know he's talked about that many times, and he has it on his YouTube channel where he does
Yep.
talk about it.
Oh, we're back on.
Yeah, we're back on. All right, everybody. So it was sorry for the delay. What happened was YouTube kicked us off at some point when he finished when Jimmy Larson
We're
finished his
already
story.
getting controversial, but they can't silence us.
Exactly, they can't. All
We
right.
may go, but we'll be back.
Yeah, right. All right. So
Speaking of coming back.
right. We're definitely back. So one more
What do you
time.
guys?
Go ahead.
Go on. No, go on.
Oh no, so one more time. So we got kicked off for a second, but we're back. You know what? I'm gonna start recording everything, and I'm gonna have to do something with the equipment. Like instead of running off the Wi-Fi, I go I run it directly through the Ethernet cable, so that way, just in case, you know what I mean. But go right ahead, man.
The one thing you don't want to do is get shut down by bad Wi-Fi. Another place where that can mess you up getting shut down by bad Wi-Fi is the WWE Thunderdome.
The
Because
Thunderdome.
they have told fans over and over again, make sure you have a good Wi-Fi connection before they allow you on. And you know that better than anybody because you were on there.
Oh my gosh, that's some crazy mess that.
But speaking of people being on there that don't belong there, we've seen some craziness. We've seen everybody from Mario. We've seen Pikachu.
Yep.
We have seen a certain person that WWE has banned from ever being on their television program, who was the highest rated Dark Side of the Ring episode.
Mm-hmm.
And he appeared in more than one screen the same night. So there's been a lot of things not meaning to be showing up on there, and I think it's a major problem for WWE. I think they're getting it under control, though. We're not seeing that stuff happening as much now, I think. To me, I don't understand why they're still letting people on there because in the terms and conditions it says they own your likeness once you're on there, so they should have enough people now that have done it where they could just re-show the same screens that they've already got filmed. But that's just the opinion.
Well, I mean, I think they do that anyway. I think at some point, because when I was on the whole Thunderdome, right, and this was for not SummerSlam, it was Payback, right?
Payback.
Yeah, it was for
Payback.
it was for Payback. So I get on there. I get on there for Payback, and I'm waiting because they told me at a specific time to get on. So I get on there like about 5 minutes earlier, and they let me in and whatever. And I'm waiting, and it was just, I don't know. It was just one of those things for me where it wasn't worth it in the end. Because I get on there, and now. What was the claim, right? That it was the best virtual experience or whatever, and it'll be like you're actually there and no. So I was thinking, okay, they're gonna set up a bunch of cameras, right? They're gonna set up a bunch of cameras around the arena, around the ring, and like in between monitors and whatever, and and I was thinking it was gonna be something where. What was it? Where it was going to be something where 1 second, hold on.
Are we off again?
No, we're not off. I'm just trying to figure something out. No, anyway, so I figure for me, see now I figured this out. Okay, I'm trying to add a quick video thing so that way it doesn't kick us off. No, but so I'm thinking, they're gonna have a bunch of cameras, and that way, when the wrestlers, the performers, the superstars, whatever you want to call them, like they would be able to pander to the crowd, like just like they do in a live show, right? They'll go to one corner, to the other corner, whatever. They'll point to a specific fan or whatever and all that. No, when you're watching this, it's like you're watching it on the network or on TV. It's whatever like you see on the main cameras that they're showing on TV. They're switching back and forth and whatever. That's what you see. The only benefit is what? What's the only benefit? That your face gets to be shown on one of the monitors.
Can't see on television.
Yeah. So there's really that's all it is. That's all it is. So what was all the hype, in my opinion? That's my question.
You know what they should have done, and it would have been a lot better. I think all around, they should have built these little not cardboard cutouts, but they should have built people.
Yeah.
In the audience, and for their heads. They've done this in Community. They did this on South Park. They've done it on different shows, so I know it would have been possible. Yeah. Put an iPad or something on top of this where the head is supposed to be, and have the screen then showing on that screen the person's face, so it looks like that person's attached to a body, and meanwhile the outcam is on each of these iPads or whatever they use, so that the fan at home is getting a view based on where they're sitting in the arena, so it feels like they're sitting in that particular seat, and that's their show.
Yeah, no, and I agree. It
would have looked better for a fan at home, and it would have looked better for everybody watching at home on television to see interactive screens, because right now we're seeing everybody's making fun of it. It looks like a game of Guess Who.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you saw the graphic I made for it.
Have glasses.
I mean, you saw the graphic I made for it. Come on now.
Oh yeah, everybody was making graphics similar. Even it's just ridiculous. It's this doesn't look realistic. I actually laughed on SmackDown this week because Bayley actually interacted with the people by acting like they're actually saying things to her. She actually told somebody, "Hey, be quiet," and I'm like, really?
and the thing that and the sound quality of everything, okay. And I'm gonna say, at least from my experience, okay, if they're whoever's in who's ever in the truck, whatever producer, director, whatever's in the truck, they can directly talk to whoever is participating in the Thunderdome, okay. But most of the time when they're talking to you, they have audio already playing from whatever's happening on the pre-show or on the pay-per-view or whatever. And if if they're trying to tell, hey, stay in one spot, hey, it's like you can't, number one, you don't know if they're directly talking to you or whatever. You could barely hear them because the audio of whatever is on, whatever is on is in the background really loud, and then okay, they can. Your voice, through the microphone on whatever device you're using, okay, they can hear you talk, right? They can hear you talk, but when you're watching the actual pay-per-view, it's like they're piping in noise. They're piping whatever noise, It's like in the beginning you hear whispers. It's like they went to YouTube. They're like, okay, whispering sound effects. And they downloaded the audio, and that's what they're playing in the beginning, and then they're piping in the audio from the games, because when they're doing the new game, right, about for 2 or 3 months straight, they'll have one of their superstars. Before it was The Rock, right? He was like, hey, you want to be a part of the game? On 3, I want you to scream, yay! 1, 2, 3. On 3, I want you to boo, boo. On 3, I want you, whatever, right? It's like they took the audio from the games and they're piping it in. So what's the
video game?
Yeah. So there's just so much, I personally, I think they should use the audio. They should use the audio of whoever, whoever's a part of the Thunderdome, so you can actually hear the fans say, Bailey, you suck, or whatever,
I think they're worried about people yelling things that they shouldn't be yelling. That's what I think they're worried about with that.
They're trying to micromanage.
Because look at what they're showing on their screen.
Yeah, I mean, look, they're trying to micromanage everything to a ridiculous point. From promos to whatever.
Ahead of technology with the Thunderdome, but I mean, 30 years ago, Mad Max went beyond Thunderdome.
Mm-hmm.
And then WCW went beyond Thunderdome. I'll tell you, I'll take the Thunderdome cage Halloween Havoc 89 over this thing any day of the week.
Oh, heck yeah, man. I agree. I totally
And,
agree. I mean,
and,
go ahead, man.
go on.
No, I was just gonna say is that as soon as he said Thunderdome, as soon as they started announcing Thunderdome, like like Bray Wyatt said, the first thing that came to my head was like 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, two. That was the first thing.
I know, think of Mad Max, and I mean that would be where Festus would have worked to still have that character, but they let Gallows go. But bring back Festus because he's a lot like the character that Mel Gibson goes up against in the Thunderdome. But no, speaking of people in the Thunderdome, look at this idiot, Kenny Omega.
Oh yeah.
Some fan puts Kenny Omega's picture up on their screen. No, it wasn't Kenny Omega on the screen. It was just a picture of Kenny Omega on the screen.
Yep.
But Kenny Omega decides to run with it and post it on his Twitter account or wherever he's popular. And he posts it and says, yeah, I didn't think anybody would notice me, but I was on the Thunderdome. First of all, if you don't want anybody to notice you, I think posting it on your social media account is a dead giveaway that they're going to notice you.
I mean,
but second of all,
yeah. I mean, he just ran with it. He ran with it, which was
he always does. Like when they thought he was going to be in the Royal Rumble that year, and then he told everybody by posting a picture playing the Royal Rumble pinball machine.
Yeah.
But
I mean, don't get me wrong. He's fun. I mean, even though Jim Cornette doesn't like him because.
And I agree with Kenny Olivier.
No, I mean, he's
auditioning to play with his little twinkle fingers.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I'm not disagreeing anything that Jim Cornette said about him or anything, but. To a degree, I kind of like his style as far as him running with it because, he's making the best of every situation, whether it's through with.
But here's the problem.
Go ahead.
He's acknowledging being on this thing and saying, "I finally made it," acting like it's a big deal to be on the WWE television. This man, I could be wrong on his title, but isn't he one of the presidents or vice presidents of AEW as well as a talent? He's got some job. He works as one of the office people. He's in charge of the women's division even. So I would think that Tony Khan would see this and say, excuse me, but you just put over our competition as being the A show, which in turn makes our show the B show. And I would think not only Tony Khan would be mad about this, but everybody else who works for AEW would be mad at this. And of course, Turner Network, TNT, would be upset about this, that he's promoted the competition on another network.
Yeah, well, he's an executive vice president. I just Googled it real quick. He's an executive.
Well, there you go.
But I agree. That's regardless of what, that is stupid. That is stupid because of the
he
fact
should be either fined, suspended, or demoted, or all three. I don't think fire him is the reason. No, fire him, but fine him, suspend him.
I definitely say fine or suspend because.
It's definitely a matter of, hey, if you want to be in WWE so bad, bye-bye.
I mean, and if you think about it, it's like, why does he want to be in WWE so bad? Because when he originally was in WWE didn't do jack with him.
And if you're wondering how we knew that it wasn't him on that screen, it was just a picture, you didn't see him point to anything.
Exactly. That was the other thing. No, but it's just one of
pointing all over the place.
Oh yeah, no, it's just one of those things. It's like I mean, like I said, him
doing a Brady Bunch deal where he pretends to be the center block, looking around at all the
right. No, but like I said, I mean, I do, I do like his style on certain things. I'm like I said, I don't always, like with everything, right? You don't always agree with me personally. I don't always agree with everything, but I mean, in this case, he was having fun with it, but at the same time, he was making his company look like crap. But like you said, by saying that, well, WWE's the A show, like it's.
No, they for all the stuff he did in Japan, but let's face it, everybody in Japan does that stuff, so you can't fault him on that.
Well, no, yeah, and here's that's the thing in Japan. Okay, in Japan, you have three things happening in Japan with wrestling. Okay, and you have the strong style. You have your strong style where it's wrestling strong style where you do what have you. You have your hardcore hardcore death matches, and then you have like your comedy matches or like crazy.
Well, comedy, but what they think is comedy.
Yeah, like come on,
I just recently saw the Ronald McDonald guy.
yeah, but like
The
come on,
less of that, the better.
yeah. I mean, like okay, like Kenny Omega wrestling the blow up doll.
Yeah, but you know what? But he did that because they have standings of like their stats of like where they are at, and the blow up doll is on the standings and actually had like 2 victories. I'm like, those matches obviously don't exist on tape, or else I haven't seen them. But really, you got a victory twice?
I've seen the blow up doll match. I've seen the blow up doll
I've seen a few of them from different people.
Yeah,
I saw Meg Riho when she was a little girl.
Yeah, I saw that one too. Yeah, but then you have like Joey Ryan.
Yeah.
Joey Ryan. That's where the penis spot started, and I heard the story about how it started. I heard about how it started and what have you, and okay, and
I first saw Joey Ryan back when he was with Wrestling Society X, and even he was with the '70s tag team, and even back then I said, "Who is this schmuck?" But I will admit, I actually did enjoy Joey Ryan's work when he worked with Al Snow and TNA during the gut check segments. I did enjoy that.
oh yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah, I mean he
I
definitely.
completely fault him because that was enjoyable.
Oh
but,
yeah, no. I mean, and here's the thing: is that I mean, regardless of the issues that's going on with Joey Ryan, I mean, he basically he closed his promotion down a few months ago for his whatever he did or did not do. I don't know. He
There's
actually.
the answer to the question of this podcast. What's going down? Joey Ryan's promotion. That's what's going down.
Well, he started uploading again, like because I was subscribed to his channel and I recently.
I heard he shaved and like tried to act all like innocent now.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen any interviews or anything, but all I know is that like with like with Impact, right? When he or TNA, whatever you want to call it, when he was with when he did, like you said, the segments with Al Snow, I enjoy those because that that brought the fan out of me. Just seeing him doing that. I don't like his attitude as far as the business, and you know where I'm coming from. I don't like the attitude that a lot of what I say kids have about the business where they yes, John, exactly, Omega is a joke. No, but no. No, but like the bit where it is, oh, it's professional wrestling. It's not that serious. It's this, that, and the other, and I'm like, like when they'll even be like, oh yeah, it's a fake or this or it's like, there's no respect for the business anymore. There's no respect for the business.
Oh,
anymore.
absolutely not. I mean, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, they did a lot of that garbage to ruin the business, and I'll never forget the clip. And they actually got Jushin Thunder Liger involved in this, which that's sacrilege because he's one of my favorites, and I can't believe he went along with this. I know where you probably know where I'm going with this. They had like 8 or 9 guys, each guy one at a time, sticking their thumb up the other guy's butt.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And then they do the Congo line. And then one of them, the guy in the back who's supposedly controlling all the people up front,
Mm-hmm.
he turns his hand and all of them go into a flip.
Mm-hmm.
And people are going crazy like this is the greatest thing they've witnessed. And I'm just sitting here like, kill the business now. It just died. They just killed it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. On the indies, I can enjoy a good comedy match. I can enjoy a good comedy
It's
match.
done right, yes, but not like that.
No, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But I do have my limits. I have
Not
my.
pulling freaking lollipops out of your butt and sticking them in your opponent's mouth, or girls opening up your tights and having them puke inside your tight. What is it? What is going on?
Yeah, like I said, I have my limits with the comedy stuff. There's certain, like personally, I like, for comedy matches, I like Orange Cassidy. You know,
I hate orange.
well, I mean, yeah, well, you and
And
you
I
and
liked it with the colony. So I thought that was good stuff. When he worked for Shikara, he was part of Colony, and I liked it.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like like as far as comedy matches, I like his style as far as comedy because it's simple. It's not over extreme like with the lollipop thing or the fingers up the butts or the penis grabbing or anything. It's simple. It's just his shtick. He's a sloth, and he keeps his hands in his pockets. Like Jim Cornette, he calls them
To
pockets.
me, though, I like the comedy matches when they still feel like it could be a realistic fight. Like the best comedy match I've ever seen live was a match between Matt Stryker and Chris Candido, and these guys, the promoter was running out trying to stop the match because they went off script, but they they turned it into a real fight. But what they started doing at first, it was really funny. They were just trying to mimic every guy in the business, like they were mimicking Flair and Hogan and just everybody, and it was so funny. And it got to the point where they were just at the point where, okay, stop trying to one up me. I'm going to one up you back. And then they get so mad that they just went out into an all out brawl and started beating each other up. So it felt realistic. It was comedy, but it was also, oh, hey, I do want to fight this guy. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, no, I know, and I agree. It's like for me, when it comes to comedy, it varies. Me personally, when it comes to comedy for wrestling, it varies. I mean, like I said, I have my limits, with it. But and at the same time, if you're, like right now with like going back to Orange Cassidy, uh, he's not a okay, he's not a main roster. I mean, not a main. He's not a top tier match guy. Don't put him in a top tier match if he's not going to, if he's not gonna like give it. If he's just gonna continue on with his comedy shtick on that top tier match. Don't put him out, keep him on the lower card, even bring him to the mid card, every now and then. But, don't.
The circus, the clowns are the opening act. They're not the main attraction.
Exactly. That's just the whole point. That's the whole point that it should be with
That's
with
the
wrestling.
point there.
You have your openers and you have and what have you, and I mean I can remember a bunch of shows that I was on you know, uh, I'm low on the card, okay, but I give it my all. I give it my all because as the opener, and even if it was even if we did add some comedy or what have you, whatever it was, we still gave it our all, to keep the people like focused on wrestling and whatever. We didn't do anything to damage the business. We didn't do anything, and nowadays, nowadays it's either the comedy is just too stupid or going too far or whatever, or you got every guy in there, trying to get over and get all their crap in, going flip, 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 flip here, flip there, all these high spots and stupid spots and whatever, and it's like I used to be an amateur wrestler. I did amateur wrestling in middle school and what have you, and in school, and if you think about it, all right, uh, with the individual match, the points matter. The points matter. so that we, like you get so many points or you win by a pinfall or whatever, right? But in the whole wrestling team has to win, and it's a team effort. So professional wrestling is the same deal. Okay, the individual matches are yes, they are important, but it's also about everybody as a team. Everybody in the locker room working together as a team, so to put together a good show. But if the first match, if you're doing a lot of stupid, crazy spots and you're jumping, and you're jumping off a balcony to do a splash to a guy that's on a table, then you miss and you break your shoulder or something like that. What does that do to it just kills the whole show.
Like you just said it right there. That's what made ECW stay around as long as they did, because every one of those guys in the locker room treated it not like, hey, I got to go out and have a good match. Yeah, they did, but at the same time, they were like, okay, I got to go have a good match, and then this guy's got to have a good match. We're a team, and that's what they did. They treated ECW like a family, like a team effort to go out and put on, because it was them against the two big organizations.
Exactly, and
so they said, go and be a team out there.
No, exactly, and regardless if you liked ECW style or not, not every match is a hardcore match.
I hate matches and I love ECW, so there you go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's like not every match was a hardcore match. Everything was divided up. When they brought in Chris Jericho and Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio and Crispin, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, every match was different. Every match was different. It was, that match was important, but like you said, they were a family, and it was just, now, and if you think about it, WWE, a lot of it sucks. I'm sorry to say, a lot of it sucks because.
Well, the biggest problem today in wrestling, what I noticed, and I've talked about this with lots of people, is that too many guys are trying to create that moment in history. But if you really look at the best moments in history, they're the ones that the guys weren't trying to do. They were just out there having a good match, and the moments created themselves. Exactly. Now, especially WrestleMania, these guys are trying to get all these spots in. It's like, stop trying to do spots and just do a good match. Because my favorite WrestleMania is WrestleMania 3. You look at some of the finishes, like Harley Race beats Junkyard Dog with a belly-to-belly suplex, which people knock Bailey for having the belly-to-belly as a finish. Hey, Harley Race did it for years, and it was great. People love the guy. And I'm sorry, but Cornette agrees with me on that one. Bailey is amazing.
No, I agree. I mean, and if you think about it, with all of that, it's like, and I don't know who's to blame on this or whatever, but you notice it's like, and it started at the top and it works its way down to the indies where, everybody starts trying to outdo the next person with whatever finishing move. You know what I mean? They don't think about longevity. They don't think about the actual
the undercard not be trying to outdo the main eventers.
Yeah.
I mean, it happened in WCW, but it's not like they were trying to do that. It's just that the main eventers were too lazy to put on a good match.
Exactly.
And they would get mad at the under guys. Oh, you're ruining the show. And they were, but they weren't trying to. It's just that, hey, the main eventers should have never been the main eventers if they're not going to put on a better match.
No, exactly.
The main event guys should be striving to put on the match that's the main event match.
Exactly. And then on top of that, don't put guys in the main event who are not ready for the main event.
Exactly. WWE does it all the time, and then by the time that they are ready for the main event, you're sick of seeing them, and you don't even want to see them in the main event.
Exactly. I mean, if we take WCW as an example, okay, and don't get me wrong, I enjoy, and I'm gonna talk about Bill Goldberg real quick. Bill Goldberg, don't get me wrong, I enjoyed that explosiveness that he had, but he wasn't ready. He was not ready at all whatsoever. He had a very limited moveset. All he had was the spear, the jackhammer, and maybe a couple strikes here and there. That's all he had. And even now, whenever he's on WWE TV, it's the same thing. He has a limited move set. He should have, they should have. What was it? He was in the power plant like a month or something before they put him on. Before Bischoff puts him on.
Well, it goes back to what I said before. Well, they did the same thing with the Giant too. He was only in the power play for like a month and hadn't even had a match yet. And they put his first match in professional wrestling. I didn't work for any independents, nothing. His first actual professional wrestling match took place in the main event of a pay-per-view, and they made him the world champion, beating Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. I mean, again, he wasn't ready either.
And that's before Goldberg.
Yeah, no, and he did. The funny thing is that at least Big Show, Paul White, right? He admits he wasn't ready. He knows he wasn't.
Yeah.
Goldberg.
He WWE thinking he was a big shot because of what he did in WCW, and that's when he realized, man, I know nothing.
Yeah. But at least now it humbled him. That's number one. It humbled him.
Well, what humbled him was when they thought he was better than everybody. They sent him down the OVW, and he was like, "What is this?" Because he'd never worked a small show like that. Mm-hmm. And Cornette straightened him out. So anybody who likes Big Show, Jim Cornette's the thing for that one.
Oh yeah. But like Goldberg didn't have that. It's like.
But Goldberg never would have allowed that anyway because he thought he was big shot and nobody was going to tell him otherwise.
Yeah, but again, like I was saying, he had a very limited move set, and even now he still has a very limited move set, and what have you. It's like. But he has a cockiness. He has a cockiness that he doesn't deserve. He shouldn't have.
Well, what would have been best for WCW, like I said before, they should have had Chris Jericho have the match with Goldberg, beat Goldberg, and destroy the streak. But he didn't even have to pin him or make Goldberg look weak. Do it like I said, where you have him get a count out win or something cheap. Jericho could run off that. Because that's what he was. He was cheap heel. Yep. He could run off that and get his heat up, mega, like as they call it, nuclear heat. Yeah. He would have had that. And Goldberg still would have been strong on top. And then Jericho, instead of Goldberg avoiding Jericho, Jericho could have been avoiding Goldberg. And it would have actually helped push Goldberg. Instead, we saw Goldberg. That's when Goldberg really started to look weak because he looked like a baby that didn't want to work with Jericho. Yeah. And it would have been the other way around. It would have been Jericho doesn't want to work with you. Yeah. And Jericho looks like a baby and everybody wants to see this match again. And Jericho won't let it happen. Yeah. Now you've pushed Goldberg higher and you've made Jericho a star and Jericho can now work main events.
Yeah.
But
but with everything the way it was done, it was just, it screwed up so many different things. I mean, for crying out loud, Goldberg is the reason why Bret Hart had to retire.
Well, see, I actually had this conversation with somebody else. That's not 100% true. Bret didn't get the concussion from the kick. Everybody thinks it's the kick that caused the concussion. It actually happened earlier in the match. Bret used to do the sharpshooter over the ring post, and he would hang down. And if you watch those early times when he did it, even like what he did with Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13, he falls on his head and hits his head on the mats. He did that at WrestleMania 13, like I said, 97, before he's even in WCW. So he even talked about, and Cornette mentioned this recently when they did the watch-along even for that match. He said that Bret would try to get the referee and all to come over and try to break it up just so the referee could break his fall so he didn't fall on the floor. Bret went for the sharpshooter with Goldberg, and Goldberg not knowing what he was doing to hold on to Bret's legs, he let Bret drop and Bret hit the back of his head against the concrete floor. And you see it happen, and then you see Bret get up, and he's all groggy and like out of it already. And that's why I think he missed that line of, hey, watch the kick. I don't think he hurt Goldberg because he was still groggy because he already had the concussion from hitting his head on the floor.
Right.
And I think he forgets about that himself because, I mean, when you suffer a concussion, you also could get some memory loss. And I'm sure he's not watching the whole tape of that whole match back. So he doesn't see this, and he thinks, oh, the kick did it. But I don't think it was the kick.
Well, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, I got to go back through that myself. I definitely got to go back through some of the matches, even like you said when he did the sharpshooter to Steve Austin at the ring post.
It
So
was a dangerous move to do that sharpshooter like that over the ring post because he's literally hanging with his head right over top of the concrete and nothing there to stop it.
yeah.
So it's a dangerous move to do. And honestly, it didn't look that great anyway, and it was always broken up immediately. Kind of like when Jerry would do the tarantula in WWE, they'd break it up immediately, so it looked bad.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, speaking of AEW, we were talking about that, how Kenny Omega, he really should be demoted because, I mean, it's not like it's going to affect their ratings. They talk all the time about their ratings and everything. Oh, we have high ratings for the demos and everything. No, you have the same people watching your show every week. You're not gaining any new audience whatsoever.
Exactly.
So that's not a good thing to do. And the reason you're not gaining a new audience is because you're not giving anybody anything that they should care about.
No, I agree.
But speaking of a show boosting its ratings, the #1 show in America right now is Cobra Kai.
Yes.
It's airing episodes that were from 2 years ago and from last year.
Right on Netflix.
New episodes.
Right on Netflix. The rate
skyrocketed.
Yes.
Just by moving to a new network.
And the crazy thing is, man, and I tell you, bro, 2 years ago when both me, you know, like I was watching it on YouTube. You bought the DVD set, you know, the limited DVD set. But I
knew it 2 years ago. I just hadn't seen it until I got the DVD set.
Yeah. But I was watching it on YouTube, like, because the way they did it on YouTube, like, you know me, I'm broke. I don't got no money, so it was like they would premiere one episode. They would premiere one episode for a week on YouTube Red or in whatever, and then the next week it'll be free. So every other week, you know, every week. From then on, it was like the newer episode for free. So that's how I was watching it, and I'm telling everybody about it. And then me and you were having some discussions about it after you buy the DVD set and all that. But it's honestly, I mean, the best show out there. And I mean, you know, I remember all the Karate Kids, you know. You know, the first one, second one, third one, even the one with Hilary Swank. I mean,
ex-Karate Kid, which I like that one.
Yeah, no, that was really good. I liked it. It was different. You know, it was different.
My order from the movies was 1, 3, next, and then 2.
No, but it was just. I mean, the show itself, it is awesome. It is just awesome because. I mean, you're definitely seeing it from Johnny's side. You're definitely seeing it from Johnny's side on how he saw things. It's like you got to remember that the first 3 movies were just from Daniel's side, how he saw things, and now it's like.
Well, Johnny's only in the first movie too.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is.
I mean, technically, you could say he was in the second movie, but that scene was actually a deleted scene from the first movie that they used in the second movie. But
yeah. Yeah, but I think if anything, the reason why it starts it off, and you got to remember the first one. That's where you got introduced to Johnny, the first bully, whatever. So okay, with Cobra Kai and plus everything with John Kreese, everything just comes full circle, in my opinion. You know, you're seeing it. You're seeing everything that's happening on, from Johnny's point of view, how he saw things, how he felt about things. The fact that you find out that his stepfather was an ass. You know, and that Kreese basically became a father figure who taught him the bad things, and how he's trying to become a better person and trying to teach these kids a better way. But regardless of what's happening, it's like that there's still that conflict between Daniel and Johnny, and then with what was it?
Every time they try to become friends, something comes up to start the rivalry. Right?
Exactly.
It's like, oh no! And as an audience member, you're like excited to see them as friends, but you're at the same time thinking, "Man, I wish they were still enemies, though." And then you get your wish of that, and then at the same time that you're happy now that they're enemies again, you're like, "Oh, but they were just becoming friends."
Yeah, it's like you're happy, but you're ticked off at the same time. You know.
Like, did different from season 1. Every character that you care about in season 1, because in season 1, some of them started to kind of like you care about them and then you start to hate them as well.
Yeah,
that's the thing that makes this show work. every character seems to have that good and bad side, showing you that nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
But the thing that made me so into season 2 was just the transformation of Hawk just turning into this completely evil person, and he really doesn't even have a heart anymore.
Exactly.
Which what Dapka just said on an interview last week, that he thinks that Hawk's the most like Johnny Lawrence, that he has a heart inside. And I'm thinking, no, he doesn't.
No.
He proved that when he. I'm not gonna give spoilers on the show, but some of the stuff he did in the show, he proved no, he doesn't have a heart.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the fact that he betrayed his his best friend Dimitri, and and I'm not gonna give spoilers as how he did it, but
I was gonna give spoilers to people who haven't seen the show.
Yeah.
You haven't seen Cobra Kai, and you have Netflix. What the heck are you waiting for? Wait till this is over. Keep listening to us,
Yep.
and then as soon as we're done, go into Netflix, and trust me, you will say, "Oh, I'll just watch one episode tonight." No, you won't, because you're going to keep going, and you're going to watch all 20 episodes, and you're going to be right where we're at, saying we want season 3, and they're freaking making us until next year.
I know. You're gonna binge watch it like several times. You're gonna binge watch the show several times. But it's like, I think if you remember towards the end of season 2, again Johnny and Daniel, they basically become friends again. And that's thanks to Daniel's wife and Miguel's mom. To a degree. But it's like you see what happens. You see what happens where
the next morning they're back at each other's throats.
Yeah.
I'll give it spoilers as to why.
Oh yeah. No, and I'm trying to avoid giving spoilers. So, but my thing is that you'll see, as a parent, I can understand why Daniel reacted the way he reacted. When he went to Johnny's house and he saw what he saw and what happened.
Yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, and I can understand it, and but Johnny was trying to explain to him, what was going on, but Daniel, no matter what, he still has this doubt on Johnny. So instead of really listening to Johnny and trying to hear him out, he's just trying to like play. He was like, again, as a parent, and I have a daughter myself, and she was listening to us earlier. It's one of those of like, you can understand, because I probably would have acted the same way if if I was.
One of those things about Daniel and Johnny here, though, is that they're ignoring that at the end of the first movie, Johnny hands the trophy to Daniel and says, "You're all right, LaRusso, good match."
Oh yeah,
and they're ignoring that completely.
Yeah,
he mentioned that. Stavka just mentioned that in an interview.
Yep.
About that, and he actually mentioned there's a couple of deleted scenes from the first movie where he's like really evil to Daniel, and like tells him that if you join the tournament, that he was gonna like kill him or something like that, and he goes, "But it's no contact," and he goes, "Accidents happen," and he said that was the scene that he first filmed with Daniel, and it was the first scene that he auditioned with, and they cut it. So he's wondering if somebody from there has the footage and will possibly use it in a future episode of Cobra Kai. And that'd be interesting.
Oh yeah. Now the cool.
But yeah, they just got to forget about it.
No, yeah, no, it's just it's one of
And he
those.
also revealed that season 3 is going to start a few months after season 2 ended. So we're not going to go immediately into this, and a lot of things can happen in a few months, as we know.
Oh yeah.
So it's interesting to see what's changed in the few months that we don't see.
Exactly.
And maybe we'll get flashbacks.
Exactly. I hope we do get flashbacks. I would hate
And
it
according to the teaser, as you saw, Jeff Jarrett's appearing.
Yep.
If you got that. If you didn't, think about it.
No, but
I think you're completely lost.
No, I got it. I'm just trying to catch my words. But I forgot what I was going to say because you made that joke. But yeah, with Jeff Jarrett appearing. Anyway, No,
The chosen one.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. I was like, you said Jeff Jarrett. I'm
For
like,
any of our
oh,
listeners that still didn't get
yeah.
it.
But no, but with all of that is that they're gonna bring they're definitely they're gonna bring it to Japan. And the question is what's the big secret? Because if in the trailer you see Chosen, he grabs the sai and they're where Daniel's like, Mr. Miyagi, treated me like a son. He didn't keep any secrets from me, blah blah blah. And Chosen was like, are you sure about that? And then he throws aside. So the question is what the big secret, me and you, we've had this conversation. What was it last week? We had the conversation. I'm like,
Oh,
I
we've been having this conversation for weeks.
right, and me, I'm like, well, Chosen is Miyagi's illegitimate son between Miyagi and Yuki. And then it's a you can I mean you can get the thing is that trying to figure out what the secret was or is or whatever, it's like you can at this point in my opinion you can say it is whatever, and you could be right. We
I
just
still think, like I said, because Sato was trained by Miyagi's father, just like Miyagi.
hmm
And then Sato trained Chosen, because Chosen, he said, even was his nephew and his number one student.
yep.
And then when Daniel walks by Chosen's dojo, he sees Chosen the way he's teaching his kids is a very different style than what Miyagi had taught him. And it's the same style Sato knows.
hmm
So my theory is that his father taught him bad things as well, and Miyagi chose to ignore it. Because remember, too, and this is a thing that's always puzzled me about this show,
hmm
the whole rule number one Miyagi-Do karate, about the karate being mind and body and all that stuff. And then rule number two, first learn rule number one. And they even brought that back in Cobra Kai with Daniel telling it to Robbie and going, it really is all about that first rule.
hmm
What if it isn't all about that first rule?
Exactly.
What exactly? Because why would you make a banner for rule two if rule two is just go reread rule one? I think there is a rule two, and it's never been revealed to us. And rule number two is what that secret is. Whatever rule two is, that's going to be the secret.
Now, question. What if rule two is if you have if like if you can only kill if it's necessary or something like that,
Or strike first, strike hard, no mercy, sir.
right? Yeah,
And
right.
there's the big reveal that Cobra Kai
Is
was
Miyagi-Do,
actually by
right?
Miyagi-Do. And they're not much different.
Yeah, because if you think about it, we don't know who Sensei Kreese learned karate from.
That's what I was going to go. Well, Kreese learned from Terry Silver. We learned that.
No, I thought Terry Silver learned from Kreese because in part three,
In
Terry,
part three, they talked about how they were in Vietnam together, and Kreese saved Terry's life, but Terry was the one who taught Kreese everything he knew and bought him the dojos as well. Terry used his money to buy the Cobra Kai dojos that Kreese was running.
well, whatever it is, how can I put it? The thing is that I wouldn't be surprised at this point either if Cobra Kai is just another aspect of Miyagi-Do.
Yeah, it would further develop into the same type of storyline that the show already has, that Daniel and Johnny aren't much different.
Exactly. It's
I
just
mean, heck, Ralph Macchio plays Daniel. He played Johnny in The Outsiders.
exactly. Okay. No, it was the other way around. It was the other way around on the Karate Kid fandom site. It says
Okay.
though he had no prior experience in karate, Silver's exceptional athleticism and his physical stamina made him a natural for martial arts, and Silver began undertaking extensive karate lessons from Kreese and between combat missions. And the only reason why, because I remember where where Silver is basically he's giving them the money to start Cobra Kai's all over because of Kreese. like he's giving Kreese the credit for Cobra Kai stuff and everything, you know. So
Okay.
yeah,
You're mentioning saved his life in Nam, so I thought that's why he was giving him the money to pay him back for that.
yeah, no, it's just that's why I'm glad I'm doing everything through my computer so that I can just do a quick
Yep,
Google
yep.
search.
You're the research guy. I'm using my own. I'm using my computer known as my brain, and sometimes, yeah, sometimes we hit the wrong URL in there somewhere.
But yeah, no, but you know, again, you know, going back to the question, who did Kreese learn it from? I mean, you know, other than Vietnam, you know, what other battles was he? Because even in Cobra Kai, it's like Kreese is having memory problems, you know, when he's talking about his time in the war. And again, that's not giving anything away. That's just kind of, you know, is he lying about? Because we know that he's a big liar. So you know, but who did he learn his style from? And if he was in the military, he was in the military, and you know, it is possible that he was stationed in Okinawa or somewhere else in Japan, or you know, or whatever, and he could have learned that before, uh, you know, going into battle, you know, during the Vietnam War. I mean,
Got
it's
another one for you when you get a chance.
all right. Go ahead, tell me.
um, Go back to Karate Kid 1 when Miyagi comes in with Daniel to the Cobra Kai dojo for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Kreese doesn't like act like he doesn't know who Miyagi is.
Mm-hmm.
He actually acts like he does know who Miyagi is, and when he just goes up to him, all he says is, "I heard you jump some of my students last night."
Oh,
But he doesn't say like, "Who are you?" or anything. I mean, yeah, granted, Johnny whispered to Kreese, so we don't know. Maybe Johnny said, "Hey, that's the guy who beat me up last night."
mm-hmm.
But it just seemed out of place that he just like he acted like he already knew who Miyagi was. Besides that, so maybe there is like a connection that we're going to learn that Miyagi and Kreese had already known each other beforehand.
Could be, could be. But at the same time, you know, in character development, if you have a bad guy who's, you know, whatever, do you really think the bad guy, you know, cares who the person is? He's just gonna be like, I heard you jump some of my kids. Like if it, like you know, like
True.
you know, like if it was something like Miyagi was teaching Daniel in his home, all of a sudden Kreese shows up, Miyagi would have been like, and who are you? I think that would be more like something Miyagi would do. You know, I don't think it would be as far as like again character development type whatever. I don't think that would be something that Kreese would do.
I'll tell you, over the years, throughout the films and Cobra Kai, I think other than Johnny, has any of the main villains not been to the Miyagi dojo? Because Kreese showed up in Cobra Kai there. In Karate Kid 3, Mike Barnes came in, and
Terry Silver
Terry,
too.
and now I know you're going to say, oh, but Chosen. No, but they had like the dojo that was similar in Okinawa that looked exactly the same, but it's in Okinawa, and Chosen came there and damaged that. So he came to that one.
Yep.
So I think they all went to the Miyagi dojo and trashed the dojo at some point.
Mm-hmm.
They Chosen trashed the one in Okinawa and Karate Kid 2, and we know the kids from the Cobra Kai group, led by Hawk, they destroyed the one in Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
So they all come there all the time. Like but it's supposed to be this out of place thing that even Daniel didn't know how to get there originally, and yet somehow all these people keep finding it.
Well, I mean, I guess in
in Cobra Kai, it makes sense because he's inviting people to it, but
yeah,
not Karate. He's
yeah, exactly. You know, Cobra Kai, you know, it makes sense, like you said, because he's invited. But as far as like you said, Mike Barnes, how the hell did Mike? I mean, what is it? Unless Mike Barnes was like stalking Daniel and following him around. And you know,
up there.
Well,
Like,
here's the thing. Terry Silver showed up to the house first. Remember, early on in.
He showed up after. He shows up right after at the same day because he comes in to beat up Mike Barnes because Mike is coming after Daniel.
Oh yeah, that's
and Terry
right,
comes. So that's how he makes himself look good. And he goes, "Oh, I brought that book for you." But how did he do that?
No, you got to remember, Terry Silver showed up first to pay respects to Miyagi, and then
Yeah, you're right. Because of the loss of
yeah,
Kreese, he
exactly.
came to inform him that Kreese. Yeah, you're
And
right. He
and,
did show.
and with Terry Silver being as rich as he is, he could have hired a private investigator or had one of his goons follow Daniel or Miyagi
Which he
around.
did hire private investigators. We saw in the beginning. That's why he had so much information about Miyagi. And then he broke into the house,
Yep.
and that's when he learned about Miyagi's past in the war and all. And yeah, he definitely would have told Mike, "Okay, we just answered our own question.
You know,
we just
yeah,
question."
now Chosen knew where the Miyagi home was. I mean, it was like no secret where.
Yeah, because he was trained there by Sato.
Exactly.
So, but what was weird is because he calls the drum a baby toy. How come he wasn't taught the drum technique?
Exactly. I think
Sato knew it too, because Sato knew what it was at the end. So how come Sato didn't teach the drum technique to Chosen?
Exactly. That's a good question though, because it was like Miyagi when he was talking to Daniel. He was like, "This is the secret to Miyagi family karate." It's like, really? You know, it was like a drum. Then and you don't really get it until the end when he's just like, he's acting like the drum yeah. That's not good.
It's a drum technique that he's using because he starts learning the drum technique earlier in the end. Yep. When he's up on the platform.
Yep.
And he tells him drum technique, and he goes, "Oh, I get it. So it's a defensive move. Can it be used for an offense?" And he goes, "Don't know." And ask drum. And that's why at the end, yeah, Daniel finally shows that there is an offensive move to use with it as well. But yeah, Miyagi was trying the defensive part of it.
And for crying out loud, the culture and Tomi Village, the culture in Tomi Village right there in Okinawa, as far as the movies are concerned, they created a whole dance based off the drum technique.
Yeah.
The
what I don't
dance.
get, you just made me think of this. The second movie was filmed in Hawaii. It wasn't filmed in Okinawa.
Yeah.
Sorry to bust the bubble of everybody. I'm pretty sure they would have did the same with Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
But the other day on another channel, the producers and creators were doing an interview, and somebody asked how it was like filming in Japan. And they said, "Oh, they're all huge fans of the show there." And I'm thinking to myself, either they're trolling their audience, or did they not film this time in Hawaii? Did they actually go to Okinawa? Because I doubt they would have actually went to Okinawa. I would think they would have did what they did with the second movie, film in Hawaii. So I'm wondering, are the producers and the creators trolling the audience?
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
It's really messed up, man. When you got a fan base that's already like on edge, and then you're trolling them. And they're even saying season 3 is going to be the best season you'll all see. It's worth the wait. I'll tell you, if this season is not as good as they're making it out to be, I think they're going to lose their whole fan base.
I hear you. I mean,
it's up so big.
Well, and it was funny. It was funny because and thinking back to all of this, Miyagi-Do karate is based off of martial arts that, like according to the story, and I'm gonna Google this real quick. What was Miyagi-Do based on? Okay, it's called Goju-Ryu. Okay, it's called Goju-Ryu, and Goju.
Gesundheit.
Huh?
Gesundheit.
Right. Thank you. Goju-Ryu. There's two traditional styles, two main traditional styles in Okinawan karate. That would be Goju-Ryu and Weichi-Ryu. And Goju-Ryu is based on Weichi-Ryu. Okay, Weichi-Ryu. The story, basically the story behind Miyagi-Do is the story of Weichi-Ryu, where one of them went to and the actual story is that is that the original founder of Weichi he he didn't fall asleep on the boat fishing, like the Miyagi Do story. He purposely went to China to learn the martial arts from China. Then he brought it back to Okinawa, and he taught everybody in secret. Gojuru was another one that kind of popped off from that. But so it's like the stories of this, it's like basically Miyagi Do is based off the same martial arts that I studied, and it was just like it was interesting to find that out. It was interesting to find that out because you know when in Okinawa, because we were talking about Okinawa and the show taping in Okinawa and whatever. It's like I wonder if the people in Okinawa were ticked off that okay they based a movie style martial arts off of an actual style, but when the characters were supposed to be in Okinawa, they weren't in Okinawa, they were in Hawaii. It's like I often wonder if they were ticked off about that. Like, hey, why didn't you just come over here? We would have helped you out. We would have brought plenty of students or do whatever. It's like,
I think it was a budget reason.
yeah,
It's
probably.
cheaper to go to Hawaii than it is to go to Japan.
Well, I mean, by Japanese cultures and what have you. I mean, I'm pretty sure that uh, I'm gonna put it. Many of the studios and movie makers in Japan, they would have gladly paid for the trip and whatever, just to kind of have that honor of, hey, look, you're using one of our styles in your movies, and you wanna film here, yeah, we'll help pay for it. Again, like, it's like the Japanese have a strong sense of honor and respect, where wow, I'm pretty sure they would have done it.
Well, it's one thing. It's very rare for me to actually give this movie a compliment, but the Jaden Smith Karate Kung Fu Kid, um, they were set it in China, and they actually filmed in China.
Yeah, no, that was pretty cool.
So
That was
that's one of the few things that I will actually give the movie credit
oh
for.
yeah.
It went and filmed in China, so it was filmed on location. It wasn't a movie set, and the imagery of that movie, especially when they're walking the walls and all, it's showing all these far like helicopter cam shots of the scenery. It's very well shot.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
Give that credit, but other than that, I don't want to talk about that movie too much.
I like, let's put it this way: if you're going to see the movie just as a movie, and this is just my opinion, if you're going to see the movie just as a movie, just to enjoy a movie, you know, you can enjoy it as a movie on its own. You
I
can enjoy,
agree with
you
that.
know. But if you're gonna try to,
This is my mom's movie, and she got bored of it. We turned it off before it was even over.
well, I'm just saying this is just my opinion. Everybody's different. If you're going to try to compare it to the original, there's no comparison. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's, towards the in the tournament and what have you, it's like, there's some cool scenes, fighting scenes and what have you. But you can't compare it. It was like, okay, they gave like an homage to a degree on a lot, on a lot of parts of the original, but you know it's still not the original. Like I said, me personally, I like the movie, but it's still not the
Oh.
original. It's
See, the problem too is that certain scenes, though, in this movie are ripped right from the original, but they're in Chinese and there's no subtitles. So unless you've seen the original, you won't even understand what's going on in these scenes.
I had to
Like
turn on.
when Jackie Chan goes to confront the other dojo master,
Yeah,
that whole scene speak Chinese only, and there's no subtitles.
you know what I did
So
is when it
unless
was, you know,
Chinese or have
yeah,
seen the original movie, you have no idea what they're talking about.
no, and it's funny. It is funny because when I was on Netflix, I would watch it. I'll turn the subtitles on just for that purpose, for when they would speak in Chinese. Yeah,
But
because
when I saw theater, they didn't have the option for us to turn on the subtitles.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for me I did that because, because at that point I was comparing it to the original. I wanted to see if they were going to go word for word, or at least in the spirit of something. And it was just like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not gonna get into too many details on that movie because I plan on doing it as one of my eventual reviews
that's
on
right.
my over on my channel, on
That's
Big
right.
Time Jim Larson channel.
That's right. You got to watch Big Time Jimmy Larson's movie reviews at the movies.
At the movies, episode 2 just dropped last night. We reviewed the 1988 movie Moving with Richard Pryor. Go and check that out. You can check out our archive. We do have episode 1 from last week. I reviewed the WWE Films movie Countdown starring Dolph Ziggler. I do not remember the year, and I just did it last week.
Right. And then so what movie is next? Are you going to give a spoiler as to what movie is next?
I am not, only because I have a whole list of movies to eventually happen, and I'm not sure what order I'm going to do them at this particular time. I can say that in a few weeks, when my birthday comes up in a few weeks, I am going to review my all-time favorite movie that weekend.
Awesome. That's awesome.
But I'm not going to say what that is either.
Well, for everybody that's gonna be watching and what have you, or that's listening to this program right now, what I will do is that on our next podcast, next week, what I'll do is that I'll have links and everything ready in the description box, so that way they can, if they're not already subscribed to your channel, they can subscribe. Just come back tomorrow when I can edit the page that has the stream on it, so there will be the links. Also, if you want to get a link to his channel right now, just send us an email. It's what's going down today at gmail.com. That is WHATSGOINGDOWNTODAY@gmail.com, and I will send you the link to his channel. Also, let me give myself a little plug. If you like comedy skit videos and what have you, check out Josue Skits, and I'll put a link to that in the description box as soon as I can, or just email me for that. Also, Tuesday Night Tussle, and damn it, Jimmy, you gotta get back on that. We gotta get you back on there.
The archives are great for Tuesday Night Tussle.
Oh God, yeah.
You can see some of the great segments, like when I was kidnapped and rescued by Santa Claus.
Yeah, that was pretty epic. That was a pretty epic moment.
So yeah, there's some really good stuff in the archives.
I went crazy for a while.
Yeah, so there's some good stuff there. You can also link me up on Facebook. Tuesday Night Tussle is on Facebook, as well as Big Time Jimmy Larson on Facebook.
Yep.
Like the pages and follow the pages, and you'll know when we have new content coming out if you're not already subscribed to our channels.
Yep. Oh, and Josue Skits is on Facebook as well. So just look that up, Josue Skits, and whether it's Tuesday Night Tussle, Josue Skits, Big Time Jimmy Larson's, whatever it is, you're gonna see a lot of content. Subscribe, show some support, subscribe, like, share the videos. I mean, it's we're busting our tail. We're busting our tail every day, every week. Just constantly trying to bring some cool content. I brought back Tuesday Night Tussle last year on your birthday. After a 2-year hiatus, because I personally was dealing with some issues, but
well,
but yeah, so what I'm doing with Tuesday Night Tussle, it's hopefully it'll be as we continue moving forward, it'll definitely be getting better, just like with at the movies. I know you're gonna get better. You're gonna with everything you're doing. It's just.
Your brilliant editing work for that as well.
I try, brother. I try.
My comedic writing, my timing, and all is great, but without your editing, the team, again, going back to being a team, it's what
Yes.
WWE needs to learn. They need to learn from us.
Yes. Be a team, guys. Be a
Being a
team.
team, we can create anything.
Exactly. It's not about. It's not about. It's not about. It's not about being Lauren Hill. It's about being the Fugees. For anybody.
And just saying that, you're killing me softly. But
Shame.
but anyway, yeah, you
Yes.
have anything else to talk about before we wrap this up because it's getting late?
No, not tonight, but we'll definitely have a lot more stuff next week.
Yeah, so go and like us on all the pages. Go and check out all the YouTube stuff. Go and watch Netflix. Cobra Kai, that's a free plug for them because I want that show to be successful. I want it to keep going. Go forward.
Definitely, definitely. So, you know what? Before we end it tonight, bro. I definitely want to pay some respects and some homage to your brother Kenny. He, I admire the relationship that you two had. You weren't just brothers; you were best friends. He was a good friend of mine. I mean, both of you, I consider you to be brothers of mine, and you know, I know it's been hard on you. It's been hard on you, and it's been hard on the family. But I just want to show some love and respect for Kenny for just you know if in my opinion, I think he would be proud of you for everything that you've accomplished, everything that you're doing, and he's looking down at you. He's like, "That's my brother. That's my little bro." You know what I mean? So if you want to say anything about your brother, before we go.
What's scary is I'm about to turn the age he was when he passed.
Yeah, man.
So that's scary to me.
It's a little humbling, man. It's a little humbling. But you know what? I guess that's about it for tonight, guys. So just catch us next week. And until then, right?
Indeed, I'm big time Jimmy Larson. He's CT Bishop. Go and check out all the stuff we told you, and we will see you. Well, we won't see you, and you won't see us, but you will hear us next week. Same time, same channel. Right here on What's Going Down.